Good evening. How is everybody doing out there? Happy Sunday. Welcome to Line to Game. It is Sunday, August 29th. This is our 16th episode. How many is that out of a year? Let's see. 16 by 52. About 30%. Good little first quarter recap. Feeling good. Appreciate everybody that's been viewing along the way. Been getting a little bit more active with the posts as football season is right around the corner. Preseason getting wrapped up tonight, I believe. Every team will play their last preseason game, if I'm not mistaken. I can look that up real quick. Let's take a look. Yeah, preseason ends tonight. We got the final two games going on right now. With Patriots and Giants are playing right now. It is the fourth quarter. There's about 3.5 minutes left in that one. Pats up 22-14 on the G-Men. And Browns and Falcons are playing in Atlanta right now. Just about to start the second quarter. Browns up on the Falcons 7-0. We can keep you in the loop on that one if you care. Looks like Baker so far 6 of 10, 113 yards and a touchdown for 132.5 quarterback rating. Good outing against Baker for Baker right now. This Atlanta defense, man, I got concerns. I got concerns about Atlanta this year. Not a big projection. Let's take a look at FanDuel, what they have for Atlanta's win totals. I've been starting to look into week one and some season bets. I did make a season bet, win total bet earlier today. Placed on the Bengals. 6.5 wins. That's what they got the Bengals at. 6.5 total wins for the year. Bengals had 5 last year with Burrow going out week 11. So I feel pretty confident they can get 2 more wins than last year. At least they should. They should get 2 more wins than last year. If they don't, we need to be talking about potentially a new head coach with Zach Taylor getting on the hot seat there. If they're not pulling out 2 wins. Let's look at the Falcons right here. Regular season wins 7.5 on the Falcons. That's a good line. I think they still have a really good quarterback in Matt Ryan. Top half quarterback, I'd say. I'd put Matt Ryan in the top half. I think I did put him in the top half, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We'll have to go back and watch that episode, the quarterback ranking episode. But 7.5, that's a pretty good line. Let's see where they got the Lions. Just while we're on the subject of win totals, Lions 5 even. 5 even is the Lions line. I like that line, about 5 wins. I think that's kind of where we're going to see the Lions come in this year. Colts 8.5 wins. Vegas knows what they're doing. Let's just put it that way. So does that mean I'm too homer, like I'm too jaded or like too like skewed by my homer opinions that I think the Bengals will clear 6.5? I don't know. What do you think? You think the Bengals can do 6.5? I think 8.5 is good for the Colts. You'd leave the Lions alone, John says. John, appreciate you tuning in. Congratulations on the wedding, by the way. Haven't gotten to tell you that yet. Congratulations, man. John, I don't know if you caught it, but I said Lions are at 5 wins. So 5 is a push. You have to pick over or under. So you get 5. So basically, you take the over if you think they're going to win if they're going to win 5 games. If they can win more than 4. Do you feel like the Lions can win more than 4 games this year? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know who's on that offense that's going to be their production, right? We talked a little bit of that last week in terms of fantasy, like DeAndre Swift. Is DeAndre Swift going to be the guy that it gets, 70% of their offensive production because there really just isn't a whole lot going on there elsewhere. We'll get into the Lions a little bit later. Kind of continuing through here. Let's see Buffalo. Buffalo Bills are at an even 11. I like the over on that, actually. They get the Bills twice a year. They get the Dolphins twice a year. They should win those games. The Patriots twice a year. They should. I mean, they're on paper they're better than all of those teams, right? That should get them 6. You're over halfway there with the over being 11. You know, John saying 12 wins. Are we laying money on the Bills right now, Johnny? Are we laying money right now on the Bills at over 11 wins? It's not a bad bet. It's not bad. I mean, I like over 11. Who else we got in here? Let's check out the Titans. 9 wins for the Titans. I like over on that. I like over 9 wins for the Titans. That'd be a downgrade from what they did last year. Are you saying the Titans got worse? I don't think they got worse. To me, they look like they've gotten better. You know? Especially this preseason. The defense this weekend looked a little bit shaky. Let's take a look at the Titans, what they did. I think they played the Bears this to wrap up their preseason game. It was the Bears. They did lose 24-27. Real quick before we get into the Titans, just kind of we like to talk rookie QBs on this show. I love quarterbacks. So Justin Fields, 7 of 10. 54 yards and a touchdown, 116 quarterback ranking. He did get sacked once for a 7-yard loss, and he did rush for 13 yards. So a little insight on the Bears there. Anything else to really hit on for the Bears? Not really. There wasn't a whole lot in here. Didn't look like much of the starters were playing. The Titans' backup quarterbacks were pretty uneventful. Matt Barkley with a 48.2 QBR and Logan Woodside with an 80.5. John with a comment here. Plus, Titans division may have just gotten easier. I like the over. Titans division may have just gotten easier. This year, you mean? I could see that. Maybe Wentz, depending on how Wentz is looking. It's a questionable call right now. We'll talk a little bit of that here in a minute. But then obviously the Texans, they're going to be down this year. At least I feel like they're going to be down. I think they're the favorite for the number 1 overall pick. Personal opinion. That's what I would want, actually, if I'm the Texans. I have a quarterback that doesn't want to play for me and that has a whole lot of justice system circling over top of his head. A lot following Deshaun Watson right now from the legal perspective. I would almost say I want the first overall pick. Similar to what the Colts did when they went and got Andrew Luck. So, not a whole lot to report from this Titans game. No Henry, no Tannehill, no Julio, no A.J. Brown. Nobody really on the stat sheet here. Yeah, not a whole lot to report on this one. Other than the fact that they did lose. They did give up 27 points, I think is the most points that they gave up this preseason, if I'm not mistaken. So, John with another comment here. Houston will be butt. Indy has question marks. Jags might be okay. I don't know. Yeah, Jags are a big question mark too. Indy has question marks. The Jags are a question mark. They embody being a question mark in Jacksonville because you don't know what you're going to get. You got a rookie head coach and you got a rookie quarterback. So I don't know. It's, rookie quarterbacks struggle. No one really comes out and just absolutely lights it on fire. And the Jaguars as a team, They had the first overall pick for a reason. They're not good. I expect them to be better this year. I expect them to not have the number one overall pick next year. As I just alluded to, I think the Texans will wear that crown, but or that dunce cap rather. But yeah, question marks. I think the Jaguars are contending for the division? No, it's Tennessee's division right now, and I think the Colts are going to be the thorn in their side right now. As of today, if I had to guess. It looks like we got some viewers strolling in. Go ahead, like the video, like the stream, share the stream, follow the page if you don't. I appreciate everybody stopping by Sunday night. Cheers. Oh, tonight we are drinking Founders Solid Gold Premium Lager. Great easy drinker. Tell you, Michigan has great beers, but not only do they have great beers, they have great Little League baseball. So we got to tip our cap tonight to, I think it's Taylor North. Is that what they are? I know they're out of Taylor, Michigan. I believe it's Taylor North, the Little League World Series team that won it all. They actually did beat my hometown, Hamilton, right next to Fairfield, where I grew up in Cincinnati. Todd, liking the stream. What's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. So, yeah, Taylor North, incredible pitching performance by their starting pitcher, by the way. That kid was throwing some smoke, some stank. I'm going to put this out there. I do feel like that ump had a flight to catch. Todd, I don't know if you watched the Little League World Series. No, you're obviously a big baseball guy. I don't know if you caught that, but I feel like that home plate ump had a flight to catch. I'm seeing strikes called up here, eye-level strikes on our boys in red out of Hamilton, Ohio. Nonetheless, can't take anything away from my new hometown here in Detroit, Taylor North. Congrats to those boys. Just probably, an all-around awesome experience for those kids to get in there and have some fun and be on the national stage like that. So, tip of the hat to all of those individuals that were there. So, back to football. But real quick before I do, I do want to mention, so we got one more show on next Sunday before football starts. So next Sunday is going to be the Sunday before Labor Day. I don't know if I'm going to get out there and be able to do a show. I got my kid's birthday party, all this. It's Labor Day. Going to try and soak up some last bit of summer on the boat, all this good stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out and do a show that Sunday. If not, the next time I will be seeing you is going to be our dual stream with Rally Tal Sports. Todd is in the chat right now. Todd, I'm going to jump to your comment here in just a second, but Todd and Bobby, two of my homeboys from back in the day, we literally grew up like a mile from each other. Me and Bobby were next door neighbors. Todd was like a mile down the road. And they have a bi-weekly podcast called Rally Tal Sports. They talk baseball. Last week we got off the rails, started talking Little League football and reliving the glory days a little bit. But we're going to be doing a dual stream. Myself and the guys at Rally Tal Sports, we're going to be broadcasting during Thursday Night Football, watching the game, probably out to the side, talking about the game, engaging with all of you guys. It should be a lot of fun. My idea is like it's going to be a bunch of buddies sitting around drinking beer, watching football. That's what I'd love for it to be, and I think that's where we're going to be heading. So we'll see you that Thursday night, at least that Thursday night, September 9th, right around 8:30 when the game gets going. For the Bucks and the Cowboys are kicking off the season, so should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun. All right, let's see what else we got going on. What happened this weekend? We had two of the teams that we covered. Let me get to these comments real quick. Little League Strike Zone, this is from Todd. Little League Strike Zone is always nutty, but that guy was terrible. They're young, so they're supposed to swing. Still need to be reasonable, though. So, yeah, you're supposed to get out there and take your cuts. And I will say, the last two innings, the fifth and we're talking about the Little League World Series here, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But the last 2 innings, there were some handballs right down the pipe that the kids from Cincinnati, Ohio, the Ohio team, they could have swung, especially the first and second pitch. There were some ham bones just coming right down the pipe that they could have taken some cuts at, and they didn't. But there were also some pretty and even one of the announcers on ESPN's like, "Well, looks like the strike zone's gotten a little wider here today," and he's calling it out because he was seeing it too. But nonetheless, I'm sure those kids had a blast and an experience they probably never ever forget. Um, John with the comment, "I'll listen to you guys over Collinsworth any day." Hey, you watch your mouth, all right? Chris Collinsworth is both a Florida Gator and a Cincinnati Bengal, and he works with Cadillac dealerships in the local area. He's a very distinguished man, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but he does this better than anybody. Hey, Al. That slide in, man. At this point, he's just fucking with us, I'm pretty sure. I love Collinsworth, but I'm a total homer in that I love Chris Collinsworth. Cool. Let's talk. So, two of the teams we cover the Colts. We try to cover the Colts. I'm learning. I'm getting better. I'm following the Colts a little bit more. And we cover the Lions. Obviously, me being here in Detroit. And they squared off on Friday for the final preseason game for both of those teams. Little bit of a hit for the Colts quarterback room in that who I was thinking was probably going to be third on their depth chart. Let's just consider Wentz 1. Injuries out. Wentz, I had Jacob Eason 2, and then Sam Ehlinger 3. But Sam Ehlinger knocked out of the preseason finale with a knee injury. And Frank Reich, head coach of the Colts, said, quote, "It didn't look good. We need to wait for the doctor's final say." So with Wentz still kind of recovering from this foot surgery, it's looking like Jacob Eason could be taking the first snap. For the Colts, who face off against the Seahawks. By the way, getting back to for all you degenerates out there that like gambling on football as much as I do, taking a look here at some Week 1 totals. Earlier, I almost threw some money down, but I didn't know what Wentz's situation is for Week 1, whether or not he's a go or not. Earlier, the spread was Seahawks -1. They were only laying a point. And again, this was under my assumption that it was going to be Jacob Eason starting the game and not Carson Wentz. Seahawks -1. Now, the Seahawks are notorious for starting the season like shit. At least like not really playing to their full potential. I know this. I saw it. They played the Bengals. I think this was Zach Taylor's first year. The year that before the Bengals went out and got the number 1 overall pick. And the Bengals almost beat them. They lost 21-20 against the Seahawks. So they covered that 1-point spread, if you will. That said, 1.5 points against a Jacob Eason-led Colts offense seems appealing to me. So let's see if we can try and find out anything on Carson Wentz. I want to try and take a look and see if I can find out what his status is as of today. So this is the latest note from about 5 hours ago via the Sleeper app, which if you guys haven't tried that out yet and you're going to be starting a fantasy football league, Sleeper app is awesome. It's fantastic. We just had our draft Friday night. I can show you my team if you care. We had our dynasty draft. So we're setting up a dynasty league. We had 19 rounds draft, and we have 10 starters, 9 bench players, and we keep our players next year. We'll have another draft of 3 rounds next year, and then we'll cut our roster back down to 19 and continue through that. But if you haven't checked out the Sleeper app, if you're going to be starting a league, I recommend it. It's pretty smooth. The group chat is nice. The draft was fantastic. Anyway, via Sleeper, Wentz slated for full practice Monday. Wentz is expected to participate in full team practice periods beginning Monday, Stephen Holder of The Athletic reports. So he returned to limited practice last week, and he's now expected to do full teamwork on Monday's session. So I expect that we will be hearing a little bit more in regards to Carson Wentz this week as he's going through full practice. So I'm holding off on that bet. I'm holding off a little bit because if Carson Wentz is a go, I think that game's a little bit more of a toss-up. Seahawks, Colts, especially week one, man. It's tough to throw some money down. It's tough. It's tough to just be like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. I say that, but yet I did a show on this fucking podcast where I literally picked the record for every team. So Carson Wentz still up in the air. I'm holding my money on that Seahawks Colts game as of right now. So looking at the Lions, let's take a look here at some stat lines for the Lions. David Blow took the snaps. No Goff, it appears. 13 of 21, 117 yards and interception with a 57 quarterback rating. Wow. It's a bit rough, eh? Oh, let's see. No DeAndre Swift. No. Oh, Brashard Perryman caught one pass for 6 yards. Vanquam, is that who is this? Victor Bolden. Okay. Got it. This Lions offense is just like a name of who? It's just a whole list of who? Who is this guy? I just don't know where they're going to get their production this year. I don't know. Which brings me to a point that I talked about earlier tonight. I put a post on our Facebook page that, and let me go ahead and just, I want to read the post. I don't want to paraphrase it. Let's see here. So it was Jeremy Reisman saying, for the second straight game, Penei Sewell was the Lions' lowest graded player on offense. So earlier I was having conversations with other Lions fan, and I had made the mistake of saying he was the lowest graded player on the offensive line. That's not the case. He was the lowest graded player on offense. And I just told you that David Blow had a quarterback rating of 57, which is dog shit. And Penei Sewell was the lowest graded player on the Lions offense. So I asked the question, he's learning a new position. He obviously played left tackle at Oregon. He's playing right tackle right now here in Detroit. It's very different. Right tackle is different than left tackle. You know, there's similarities, but your brain is having to now work opposite of the way it worked at left tackle. But are we ready to agree now? Are we ready? Can we say that the Bengals aren't the dumbest organization in the world because they passed on Penei Sewell? That maybe a young adult, a young man, isn't able to just come in and revolutionize an offensive line. Are we able to say that now? I want to talk specifically, this is for you, Booger McFarland. This is for you. Yes, we're only 3 games into the preseason. Yes, he's got a lot of development left to go. But people were making the assumption that when the Bengals passed on Penei Sewell and they took Jamar Chase, that they were foregoing their future. They're making such an insane decision that this guy has the ability to come in and just completely keep your quarterback safe when that's not the case. It's just not. He's got a lot of development left to go. And I'm not saying that he won't get there. He will, in my opinion. When we're comparing Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell, we're talking about 2 of the top graded prospects in their position in a long time. In a long time. Jamar Chase included, who, by the way, Jamar Chase had another drop tonight in the preseason game against the Dolphins. Joe Burrow came out. He had a standing ovation when he walked on the field. Everybody's losing their mind. First play handoff, or like a jet sweep handoff. Second play was a little like two-step drop bubble screen to Chase on the wide side of the field. And Jamar Chase heard footsteps, and it just bounced right off his hands. Not an excuse. It was a business decision. He was going to get laid out had he actually caught that ball, I think. But more hearing footsteps, alligator arms, stone hands in this preseason for Jamar Chase. Does that mean that Jamar Chase was a bad draft pick? No. Similar to what for Penei Sewell and the Lions. No. It's preseason. Both of them, didn't play football last year. It's going to take a minute. They're going to need to get some contact. They're going to need to get up to speed with the game. They're rookies. Are they still going to be great players this year? I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think by about the 5th game, you're going to start seeing Penei Sewell come into his own. I think Jamar Chase, just because he's going to be getting a lot more exposure, it might be a little quicker. But he's going to be a main target for Joe Burrow. And I don't see Joe Burrow being the kind of coach, and that's what he is. He's a coach to a lot of these guys while he's out there. He's the leader on the field, no question. I don't see him. I should rephrase that. Not the coach, the leader. As the leader, pulling them along. I don't expect that he would allow mediocrity in terms of the way they practice. If he notices mediocrity on the field, I think he's going to change that. I think he's going to address that in practices. And I think similar to that for the Lions and Dan Campbell, I think he's the kind of intense person that's probably going to address that with Penei Sewell. You would hope. And they'll get him up to speed. They have to. You don't have any other choice. If you don't, it's a failure on the organization's standpoint. In my opinion. It's not a failure on them. You have to develop these players a little bit, right? There's a big change that goes from college to the NFL. And it's got to happen now. It starts now. Take your lumps. It's preseason, though, guys. It's so early. So early. Bobby, I appreciate you dropping by, liking the video. Bobby is the other half of Rally Towel Sports that I talked about earlier. Again, next Thursday, September 9th, dual stream, Rally Towel Sports and Line to Gain. We're going to be hanging out, having some snicky snacks, drinking some beer, watching some football. Speaking of beer, I need another one. Be right back. Now, normally I do this at the start of the show, but I couldn't wait. I wanted to tear into these beers. Again, tonight we're having Founders Solid Gold. Very easy drinker. Normally do this at the beginning of the show, but I'll give it to you. I know you've been itching for it. Oh, that's nice. I'm silly. Okay. Let's see. Any other preseason that we want to cover real quick before we get into the nitty gritty? I think John is on bated breath to talk about tonight. Oh, quick comment here from Bobby. Yeah, buddy. So excited. Me too, man. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I can't wait for football to be back. Oh, Bobby, you had asked me, I think it was last week, who was I most impressed by in the preseason? And I gave kind of a weird answer. I said Mitch Trubisky. I was actually really impressed by the way he had played. One of the guys that I am actually really excited about this preseason is running back out of Michigan, Chris Evans. And I've talked about him before on the podcast. He had another touchdown tonight, but it wasn't on the ground. It was actually a receiving touchdown from Brandon Allen. And let me just say, Brandon Allen, that pass was amazing. It was beautiful, beautiful pass. Brandon Allen, backup quarterback for the Bengals. You don't need to worry about him. But I think it was like a wheel route. So if you don't know what a wheel route is, running back starts in the backfield. This will be the running back. I'm going to try and do this reverse. Actually, I'll make it this one. This is the running back, quarterback here. Running back starts in pass pro, and then he kind of just wheels up the sideline right here, down the sideline. And it was a great route, and he absolutely toasted the defender. Brandon Allen dropped it right in. Chris Evans was off to the races. And that's one of the things that I've really been encouraged about watching this Chris Evans guy. Again, out of Michigan, 6th-round pick, running back. He's explosive. He is so fast. And when he makes up his mind on which way he is going, that's the way he's going. And you can't catch him. So it's really exciting to watch him. I hope to see him get some real game time and see what he can do out there, because I think he could be special if he continues to produce in the way he has just in this preseason. So got a lot of momentum going into the regular season. So that'll be my most impressed for this week in preseason. Chris Evans, Captain America. Okay, so Detroit. Good evening. How are you? You had a rough middle of the week there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was this guy that played quarterback here for some time. Came in right after an 0-16 season. Cleveland, you know what it's like. And it was rough. But he came in, number 1 overall pick. Put the city on his back, literally. Played with a broken back. Never really quite lived up to what he was supposed to be. Talking about one, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, tons of yards, lots of touchdowns, a la Calvin Johnson. No playoff wins. I think 3 playoff appearances. John, correct me if I'm wrong. My resident Detroit historian. Maybe it was 2. Either way, John, you got me. Correct me. Anyway, never really quite lived up to the hype. I think it was a mutual understanding or a mutual feeling from both mainly Matt Stafford and the Stafford family, and I think the fans of Detroit, more so than the ownership, more so than the front office of the Lions. I think this was really the fans and Matt Stafford, and maybe deep down ownership knew, but it was time for a change. It was time for something different. It wasn't working out. The Lions would only hurt themselves if they continued to hitch their wagon to Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford would only hurt himself if he continued to hitch his wagon to the Detroit Lions. What do I mean by that? At this point, you know what you're getting in Matt Stafford, right? You know what you got. You have an expensive contract and an above average quarterback. That's what you got. Hell of an arm. Will give you everything he has. He's above average at best. And he's very, very, very expensive. For Matt Stafford, what do you have? You have the Detroit Lions, who, from a front office standpoint, have consistently shown you that they don't know how to hire a head coach yet. Dan Campbell, jury's still out. And when they did have a good head coach, a coach that took them 7-9, I think it's the best record that they've had since he's been there, would be 7-9. I'm talking about one Jim Caldwell. They fired him. 7-9 wasn't good enough. And they fired him. And they have yet to be that good again. So, from Matt Stafford's perspective, he was probably tired of learning a new system. He knew Patricia was going to be gone. When Patricia was gone, he said, it's time for me to go too. I need a new start. If I'm going to do a new start again, I don't think I can do it here in Detroit. I can't blame him. I don't think anybody can blame Matt Stafford for wanting to leave. And I don't think anybody can blame the fans of Detroit for wanting him gone. They've seen it. I know. I watched Andy Dalton fucking march down the field and lose 3 fucking playoff games, if not 4. I watched it. It's hard to watch your team consistently get your hopes up and then just rip your heart out. Or even worse, get worse. So it's tough. I think it's tough for Detroit to watch that. They needed a fresh start, and I think Matt Stafford did too. Why am I talking about this? Well, this week, an article came out from ESPN. It was a solo piece or a front page piece where Matt Stafford sat down and talked with a writer at ESPN about the whole situation, about him getting traded to Los Angeles. If you don't know the situation, what happened with him going to Los Angeles, basically Stafford knew he wanted out. He knew it was time for a change. And I thought an interesting piece here that they plugged in was that they said that Stafford kind of felt like he needed a change a couple of times in his career, yet he never really asked for it from Detroit because he felt like he would be quitting. He was the number 1 overall pick. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that. Sure, he took the massive contract extension that at the time made him the highest paid player in NFL history at the time, obviously. But there's a lot of pressure with being that number 1 overall pick, being that quarterback in the city that really wants to win, like Detroit. And he had thought that if he wanted out, that it would be like him quitting. That's what the article said, at least. And I think that's kind of on brand for Stafford, personally. That's my opinion from an outside perspective. I'm not a big Lions fan. Again, I root for them when they aren't playing the Bengals. You know, I want them to do well. But I think that's kind of on brand for Stafford. He's not a quitter. I mean, the guy literally played with a broken back. He played with a broken leg. I think it was like a broken leg, or like a cracked shoulder or something, in like his first or second season. The guy is just, he doesn't give up. He's the grittiest football player on the planet. Might be the toughest football player on the planet. He might be. Seriously. So he's not a quitter. And I think that makes a little bit of sense when it comes from that perspective. So anyway, he goes in, he tells, the front office, I need a change. It's time to go. I want to, make a move. And he lists his teams that he wants to go to. And it was the Rams, the 49ers, and the Colts. Those were his top 3. So after that point, Matt Stafford and Kelly Stafford decide we need to get out of here. We need to get out of the country. This COVID thing is driving me crazy. We got to get out of the house. Da 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 da. So where do they go? Beautiful Cabo, Mexico. And they're at a resort and they're hanging out there. And lo and behold, who do they see there? Who rather sees them? Sean McVay, head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. He calls his people, holy shit, you're not going to believe who's here. It's Matt Stafford. I heard he wanted to trade. I heard he was thinking about us. Da-da-da-da-da. They get together. Andrew Whitworth, left tackle of the Rams, who is also longtime Bengal. Andrew Whitworth is there. And they're having cocktails. They're schmoozing each other. Talking about past games. Becoming buddy. And apparently during this time, the Panthers heard that Matt Stafford was available. They made a very nice offer to the Lions. They told Matt Stafford about it. He did not have a no trade clause in his contract. So the Lions could have taken that. Could have taken the trade. Didn't have a no trade clause, but he said, I don't want to go to Carolina. I want to go to LA, San Fran, or Indy. In that order. Those are where I want to go. So the organization did him a solid. They did Matt Stafford a solid. and they didn't send him to Carolina for a better deal than what they got from Los Angeles, which was 2 first-round picks, I think a third-round pick, and Jared Goff. I believe that's what the deal was. So, Lions fans are reading this article. One, they're probably pissed off that the Lions said, we're going to do you a solid. But the real thing that's really irking Lions fans is this statement from Matt Stafford. And I want to read the quote because I don't want to paraphrase. Let's see here. Said, I've always wanted to play in those big games. I feel like I will excel in those situations. I wanted to shoot my shot. I think there's another quote in here that basically said, I don't want to, I want to play in big games against big teams, against good teams. That in the fourth quarter, I don't just want to play another game at 1 o'clock on Sundays. Basically a shot at the Lions saying, yeah, Thanksgiving game, I get the national stage. But other than that, we're not doing anything national stage. Nobody cares about us. I need a little bit more glitz and glam than just being one of 32 people in the NFL that is a quarterback that starts. That's not enough. Did he pay his dues? Yeah, I think so. I think he paid his dues. He was over a decade in Detroit as their quarterback. But that doesn't really jive with me. Why? Why doesn't it jive with me? Because every game in the NFL is a big game. Every game is a big game. You start 0-2. That third game is huge. Huge. Might be your biggest game of the season. Why? Statistically speaking, it is almost impossible to make the playoffs if you start 0-3. Okay, there's an example of a game early in the season that probably happens at 1 o'clock for most teams. That's a huge game. Division rivals. You play them, I think we play the Steelers like week 3, something like that. Huge game. Huge. Starting off the season in the division with a win, that's massive. It's probably going to be at 1 o'clock. You play in Detroit. You play the Packers twice a year. A lot of those games are at 1 o'clock, bud. Some of them are on Monday night. But 1 o'clock games are important too. So I don't get that comment. I don't just want to play another game somewhere at 1 o'clock. That said, Stafford they have not played a lot of primetime games. The Detroit Lions have not. Obviously, they get the national stage every year on Thanksgiving. The Rams, I believe, have 5 primetime games this year. So he is getting that. We'll see what happens. A lot of people feel like you had your chance, Matt. That's why a lot of people in Detroit are pissed off, is because they feel like you did have opportunities in big games. I think they play, I think it was the Cowboys one year in the playoffs. They almost won. There was another one. Was it the Seahawks? Was it the Seahawks in the playoffs? John, if you're still with me, let me know. I think it was the Seahawks that they lost to in the playoffs. There was another year where basically if they won the last 3 games, they would have won the division, and they didn't do it. So, I don't know. I get what he's saying. I think it's more about his brand. This is what he's concerned about now. He's looking for opportunities to expand his portfolio as a business person, as a brand, I guess. I'm not buying the Matt Stafford brand. What is him and Kelly gonna do, like a Chip and Joanna Gaines thing where they sell like fucking interior decorating stuff. Like that's the only thing I can imagine Matt Stafford doing is like selling yoga mats or something. Like I don't know what he would. He's so bland. Like I would say more than Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton has more personality than Matt Stafford, and that's fucking saying something. So, I all in all, I think let's talk a little bit about this other part real quick. That the Lions passed on a better deal because they wanted to do him a solid. That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. That if you're a Lions fan, that should piss you off more. I think this news had already come out, but that should piss you off more. What do you owe him? What do you owe Matt Stafford? Nothing. You made him the highest paid player in football history when you gave him that deal. It was over $200 million that you gave to Matt Stafford. You owe him nothing. If I'm a Lions fan, I'm pissed about that more than anything Matt Stafford said about wanting to play in big games on a big stage against big teams. It doesn't matter to me. That would piss me off. Todd with a comment here. How do you think Stafford reacts to any negative feedback if he doesn't have initial success in LA? I don't know. I think Stafford's pretty good about keeping his troubles, keeps his cool. He's very Dustin Johnson-esque, if you will, with a golf reference there. In that whether things are going poorly or whether things are going great, he kind of just has the same stupid look on his face. And I think I don't think it'll be hard. I don't think it'll be easy to tell. And he's a vet too. You know what I mean? He's been through the ups and downs. I think there's a lot more pressure on him in Los Angeles than there was in Detroit. I think in Los Angeles they expect to compete for the division. They expect to get into the playoffs. They expect to make a Super Bowl run, right? That's what they expect now in Los Angeles because they've been that good since they've been there. Since McVay has been there, they've been that good. So you know, 8-8 seasons, 7-9 seasons, 9-7 seasons. The Jeff Fisher era of the Rams franchise is long gone. This team and their fan base expects to win. So I think there is a little bit of added pressure there. But I think that Stafford probably feels really, really good about all of the weapons that he has, the resources that he has in terms of probably facilities, training staff. I think it's all new and shiny, and he probably has good energy coming into the season, as well as the brilliant mastermind that he has in McVay as his head coach. I think if there's anybody that can scheme up ways to make him successful, it's probably going to be Matt Stafford. So that probably goes hand in hand with that pressure of needing to succeed. So if he doesn't do well initially, I don't think it's going to tank him. He's a vet. He's been doing it for a while, over 10 years that he's been in the league, and he knows how to handle adversity. It comes with the territory. So good question there, though, Toddy. Let's see. What else did I have to yell about this evening? As I subconsciously try and wake up my kids. So we got a couple of COVID situations actually going on right now on the teams that we cover, one being the Buffalo Bills. So Isaiah McKenzie, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, I guess basically just continues to violate their COVID protocol, which if at this point you don't understand COVID protocol, I'm looking at you, Cameron Newton. If you don't understand COVID protocol, what your team expects you to be able to do, what the NFL requires you to do, then you're an idiot. You're stupid or an asshole or both. Especially if you're a starter. You're a dick. There's no other way around it. You suck. because you're letting your team down. I don't care about any of the politics that are around COVID. Put that to the side. It doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about right now. Well, it matters, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. Okay? This is more about, hey, we're on a team. We're trying to accomplish one goal of winning a Super Bowl, and we need you here to be able to do that. Cam Newton decided that he was going to do things his own way, or he misunderstood. It was a misunderstanding about COVID protocol, and he missed 5 days around his team because of it. And I just got a notification on my phone here from, let's see, I believe it was Shefty. Excuse me, it's a retweet from Shefty. This is Doug Kyed. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name, Doug. Kyed. Doug is an NFL reporter at Pro Football Focus. And he says Bill Belichick was asked if the Patriots have decided on a week 1 starting quarterback. Quote, yeah, no. Yeah, no. We had that beer last week. Yeah, no. We still have a lot of decisions to make. In reference to, obviously, Mac Jones, who's been playing well this preseason, and Cam Newton. So not only will you be a dick, will you not get paid what you're supposed to be paid via your contract because you violated NFL policy, you might lose your starting job because there's someone behind you that is doing what he's supposed to be doing that wants your job. Just saying. Anyway, this Isaiah McKenzie got a memo from the NFL basically saying that your refusal to wear a mask occurred after you were informed that it is required for unvaccinated players, as set forth in your 2021 club discipline schedule, as reiterated by signage throughout the club facility, saying that unvaccinated players may be subject to fines and discipline for failing to wear a mask. Nathan Nickel in the house. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you liking the video. So basically, this guy, Isaiah McKenzie, wide receiver for the Bills, was told, you need to wear a mask. He goes into his Buffalo Bills facility. There are signs everywhere that tell him, you need to wear a mask. You're not vaccinated. You need to wear a mask. What does he do? What do you think he does? He doesn't wear a mask. So now he has been fined, I believe fined, and he's not allowed to be around the team for like 5 days. He has to quarantine. Okay? Another note, the always active on Twitter, Cole Beasley, has chimed in. Cole Beasley saying, don't worry, they got me too, but I was wearing a mask when I was in close contact with fully vaccinated trainer who tested positive and still got sent home. So what's the point of the mask? Anyways, meanwhile, I'm here still testing negative and can't come back. Make it make sense. So just a sidebar note here. Cole Beasley stating he was in contact with someone that tested positive and he was wearing a mask. I saw a photo of Cole Beasley wearing a mask about a month ago, roughly, under the nose. So he obviously knows how to wear them the right way to keep himself safe and those he loves. So Cole Beasley, dumbass of the week. Titans dealing with their own COVID issues as well. Head coach Mike Vrabel tested positive on Sunday. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill, tight end Jeff Swaim, linebacker Justin Mark Lillard, all going on the COVID list. So that's why Tannehill wasn't participating, or maybe he wasn't participating. As a team, they are approximately 97% vaccinated. So I'm pretty sure NFL protocol states that if you are vaccinated and you are asymptomatic, you can return, I think it's in either 24 or 48 hours. So if you don't have symptoms and you're vaccinated, you should be able to get back relatively quickly. All right, what else do we have to cover here? Bills, Wide receiver room is stupid. Bengals hearing a lot of positivity out of the Thaddeus Moss, son of Randy Moss, who the Bengals picked up on waivers, I believe from Washington. At least that's who he was signed by. Excuse me. That's who he was signed by right after the draft. He wasn't drafted 2 years ago, but they signed him, and undrafted free agent. He was waived by Washington, and Bengals picked him up. I want to see if he cracked the stat line tonight. Let's take a gander here. Big Thad. Thaddeus Moss. 5 catches for 44 yards. 9 targets. Okay. He's actually second in yardage behind Trent Taylor. Muy interesante. So Thaddeus Moss getting some work. Let's see here. What else do we got? More Jackson Carman putting in work after practice, which is great. It's exactly what you want to see out of a rookie, especially that needs some more development. Jackson Carman just staying after at the facility, putting in that time, building up that technique that he needs to be successful in the NFL. So looking ahead, I want to hopefully I can get a recap show in next week. Kind of pressing up against my time here that I like to do. I like to try and keep the shows around an hour. I want to give you some previews for week 1. So Thursday night we got the Cowboys at the Bucks. Bucks laying 7.5 to the Cowboys. Then you got the Eagles and the Falcons kicking it off 1 o'clock with the Steelers and Bills. Buffalo's laying 6.5 to the Steelers. Ooh, I like that bet. I like Buffalo minus 6.5 at home against the Steelers. That Bills offense was humming this weekend. Josh Allen, I think he went 20 of 23 with 2 touchdowns, like 200 yards. Just absolutely destroyed. Who'd they play? Who'd the Bills play? I didn't talk about the Bills yet, other than the fact that their wide receiver room is just a bunch of goofballs. Oh, the Packers. That's right. Josh Allen just absolutely went off. Yeah, 20 of 26, 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. Smoking Josh Allen. So Josh Allen, Bills and Steelers, I'll be watching that game. Oh, wait, no, I won't, because I will be at the Bengals game, baby. Bengals versus Vikings, 1 o'clock as well. Bengals are 3.5-point underdogs on that one. How do you feel about that bet? That one's a trap. 3.5 points. Lions, Niners. Lions are 7.5-point underdogs to the Niners. Titans are 3-point favorites against the Cardinals. They're hosting them in Nashville. And then, like I said, this one's got Seattle as 2.5 points, a 2.5-point favorite. I'm on FanDuel right now looking at it. Come on, log me in. So yeah, I was looking at it. Yeah, 1.5 points. I don't know. I'm gonna wait to hear it on Wentz there. New England hosting the Dolphins. Ooh, we got a divisional matchup week 1. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, we got Jags at Houston as well. Another divisional matchup week 1. Any other divisional matchups? That's kind of interesting. Week 1 getting that going, huh? I like it. Ooh, Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore 4.5-point favorites. I think Baltimore can cover that. Not big on the Raiders. Not big on John Gruden. Anyway, hopefully we have a show next week. If not, you get it. It's Labor Day. You have other things going on too. Enjoy them. But yeah, if you haven't already, like the video, share the video, follow the page. We will be back for sure September 9th, right around 8:30. Week 1 gets started. Cowboys, Bucks. Going to be joined by the guys at Rally Towel Sports. It's going to be a fantastic evening of football, fun, maybe funyuns. Who knows? Oh, I got to get out of here. All right, everybody. I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good night. Have a great week. Whatever you're doing this week, kick ass at it.